A philosophy professor met with his students in a grand auditorium. The professor had been lecturing for 20 years, but he never tired of teaching this one lesson. When he sensed that he had everybody's attention, he picked up a large, empty, and clean mayonnaise jar from underneath his desk and proceeded to fill it with rocks about 2 inches in diameter, all the way to the top of the jar. With a confident look and a knowing smile, he asked, "Raise your hand if you think this jar is full." The auditorium vibrated with his presence. The students agreed that the jar was full. So the professor picked up a box of small pebbles hidden under the desk and poured them into the jar. He shook the jar gently. The pebbles rolled into the empty spaces between the larger rocks. He then asked the students again if the jar was full. They answered in unison that it was. The professor picked up a box of sand and poured it into the jar. The sound of the sand rustling against the stones filled the room, while the sand flowed into the remaining spaces between the pebbles and the rocks. "Now," said the professor, raising his voice to a higher pitch, "I want you to contemplate this full mayonnaise jar as if it was your life. The rocks are the most important things, your family, your partner, your health, your children, things that if everything else was lost and only they remained, your life would be full. The pebbles are the other things that matter, your career, your home, your passions. The sand is everything else, the small stuff, paying bills, entertainment, keeping the kitchen organized. If you put sand into the jar first, there will be no room for the pebbles and the rocks. The same goes for your life. If you spend all your time and energy on getting the car fixed or observing the lives of others, you will never have room for the things that are important. Pay attention to the things that are critical to your happiness. Play with children, spend time with your partner. There will always be time to go to the mall, clean the house, give a dinner party, or wash the carpet." The professor paused. This was when he typically surged in his student eyes, a moment of recognition. He savored seeing the aha percolate through the malleable minds of the young and restless. Every year, 1 or 2 students walked out of the auditorium transformed by the lesson. It gave the professor powerful motivation to continue teaching. This time, however, something new happened, something unexpected. As students stood up in a slow pace, he walked up to the professor's desk. He took the jar, which the other students and the professor had agreed was full, and proceeded to pour in a cup of coffee. The coffee flowed into the remaining spaces within the container, making swooshy sounds as the liquid made the jar pregnant with fullness. "See?" the cheeky student beamed with delight. "The moral of this tale is, no matter how full your life is, there is always room for sharing a cup of coffee with a friend." Rapture of delight exploded in the auditorium. Some cheered, others clapped, the most brazen hooted. On that day, it was the professor's turn to do the learning. Hello Internet, my name is Ellen, and if you enjoyed watching this video, you might enjoy reading my novel, Graffiti Hack, a story of a hacker whose off-kilter sense of style gets her into a heap of cyber trouble. Have a fantastic day.